Every year or so, I do a re-update of the subject matter. This concerns a missing person case in Mexico City, Southwest, reported through Canal 5 or Channel 5 PSA about a, quote, 18-year-old Selene Delgado Lopez who went missing as of April 22nd from Álvaro Obregón and/or that is Southwest Mexico City. No record of her disappearance is in the National Registry of Missing or Disappeared Persons, and over the years no relatives have come forward online. There was a pic that was used that was either just a poor photocopy or fax image or one from a flyer, and we don't have a listing explicitly of what year she went missing. This is going to be a follow-up based on me looking up a lot of other data by now being able to transliterate poorly from Spanish to English many YouTube videos and websites. This information is going to be error-ridden. Do not take it at face value. Pun intended. Okay. Lost Media Fandom webpage shows us that Canal 5 or Channel 5 or Canal 5 PSAs ran from 1981 to 2018 for the most part. The graphics and formats changed every 3 or 4 years, and some of them only lasted a few years in some cases. 1981, it would show an image of the missing person over a blue background while their personal information was spoken aloud by an announcer. 1998 through 2002, we're skipping forward, it would show a photo of the missing person and the name below them on the left side of your screen, and a white looped graphic would move over a background that was dark, which is the one we're looking at. Some of the pages even say there was only ever one confirmable video uploaded anybody could find, including her. Now, that would narrow it down from 1998 through the year 2002. Now, not in the middle of it, but the most likely one listed is either 2004, which can't be it, and or 2001. The missing person info was also displayed rather than just said. That was the first year, and that information is sometimes displayed, but not in this case. The PSA changed its name, and doesn't match the one that most of you have seen, in 2003 according to this Media Wiki. 2007, the PSAs were shown during animated series from morning to noon, which is what most people remember, but that's the first year they were shown early in the morning and causing a lot of people to kind of have a bad reaction to it. And because a professional voiceover artist was used, many of these would be recycled audio and video data that would be inserted. There's two ways of doing it. A masked version, meaning the background would be effectively transparent, put over whatever graphic they were using, or they would have used a previous recording from a previous set. It is important to note that you can see in at least one of the videos the background with the swirling loop patterns and the template being there. So it does show that they would insert a transparent version with the data of the person's face and their name, and or may not have included extra data like text on the side. They could change that up if they used a soft system like that. In 2010, a different Selene Delgado also went missing. Now, in 2015 is our earliest video I could find, and it's done by an uploader called Wolf254, and that was 2015, March 25th. And it may show it having occurred in either 2004 or a reference to 2001. I'm not very good at translating Spanish. And that is one of the problems with this, is that I'm using AI translated stuff. I also sat down and, at one point, without that, figured out what the words meant. Just translated them poorly without knowing Spanish. I took Spanish in school, but that doesn't mean anything. 2019, a blogger posted factually that he had found another blog of a group of people, mostly college students or something, who in 2006 gave the following information. And of course, didn't include a link saying, well, there's no point including a blogger link, it's missing. Now remember, I'm looking at a blog that may be erased soon. I archived it. If you have a link to your sources, leave them there. If it goes dead, just put the word dead link in front of the link, but don't take it down. Please stop erasing these. Yes, there's another way of accessing the blogs. They're stored in a different way. Many websites have an IP address equivalent that gets archived. Please stop erasing your citations. I don't care what you have to say up to that point. Stop it. Let's move on. Anyway, that blog from 2019 said a blog in 2006 said that page had the original print image and it was a better quality image. Or is somebody just phonied one up? A corner store's phone number was the contact information for contacting her mother and sister. And of course they listed that contact information, but it's not there now. Okay. And also the location of the corner store, and of course they're not saying where it is. Your citations, where are they? And gave the names as Laura Delgado and Donna Esperanza Lopez as being the relatives, which may be inaccurate as hell. And that 8 years after this, the relatives searched for her. Now, let's go back to our timetable. The missing persons info, let's say it was put up in the year 2000. Most likely 2001, but let's say 2000. And these ran from then to 2018, which would be, 17 years. So saying they were looking for her for 8 years would fit within the time range of simply the video being up. Maybe having the video go down and not be visible anymore, or the mention of the lady, Selene Delgado Lopez, maybe that was interpreted as them finding her or giving up or declaring her permanently missing, as they say. Also stated she went missing in the morning on or before April 18th, and this would be 2001 or 2004, and or other claims on the same blog that claimed to have the accurate information. This was the 1990s, and or this was 1978, which doesn't make any sense. Or this is the 1960s. Again, that doesn't make sense just because it's a black and white image. That doesn't make any sense at all. In the year 2020, Moz O'Clock may have covered the story as well. And that combined with other postings, including people rediscovering it and deciding to use the animation in parodies, where they would put up, all sorts of things with the same sort of background and do their own version of the voiceover. People were editing stuff. YouTube poop, that sort of thing. None of this had trended, however, until that year, 2020, April 27th, for some reason. From April 26th to April 29th, you see a bump. And it centers at April 27th. Then later on, in September 1st of 2020, from August 30th to September 6th, this was due to several things. One, a Facebook page naming itself that, and if you're not aware of it, that happening on September 1st of 2020, that is just very likely a person who happened to have exactly the same name. I mean, really it is. That's the be-all and end-all. Yeah, but I understand some of you want to use your favorite theory, but that's not relevant. I'm talking about what's most likely. Just, here we go. And that had a Facebook page ID that you can use to look up the other data. See, not everything is erased. Another Facebook user, then claimed that it may have aired from the year May 1992 to the year 2007. Now, we already know it's from... Okay, the timing there is kind of... Well, no. 1998 through 2002, so... They're doing a little bit of a range there. but said it was 5 a.m. on Channel 5 and narrated by a specific voiceover actor, which I will leave below. I've done a few color reconstruction versions of the screenshot, and I have not progressively aged it, although I tried it one time and ended up with it never picking some Fair-to-Midland thing like a current age. Now I'm going to bring up a couple of things. This individual, if this was a person who was 18 in the year 2001, would be around 42 years old now. This individual is not going to look like the image. And I'm going to include the latest ones where I just simply make a fully symmetrical face, which is going to not look correct. But here's the most likely outcome. This individual, like a lot of people who go missing and are not found, simply chose to disappear. This is an extremely common outcome in the modern world. Next, none of what I've discussed is the meme about, look at this image and you'll be visited that night by monsters, or all the Nextbot stuff, or even really about the Facebook page, because that's not really relevant and needs to stop being discussed at all. It's not the point. The point is, was this person a real person who went missing? There's no reason, and I mean this in a very straightforward way, there isn't any decent reason anybody can come up with to say this person didn't exist. There's no reason to say that this was false. And the earliest rendition of it is either 2001 or 2004, probably 2001 because of the timing. Because really, that is the most likely one. Because the style of the video stopped being used in 2002 and started in 1998. And 2001 is the most often cited time. So the assumption I'm going under is April 22nd, 2001, an individual who is in southwest Mexico City in an area that's called Álvaro Obregón went missing, and their information was posted on the news. It was not on the news, on a television channel that did this as a public service announcement and had information that would have led back to, at their disposal or at yours, if it was ever shown on the screen, to communicate with a corner store in the area that was used apparently by several people as a contact number if you needed to contact them. They would just take down messages. And that's all we know. The rest of the information is speculation and or dead links. Now, here's the next thing. If you know for a fact this information, I'm not talking about all this information, any of this information was on a blog page that is not listed below in the links, but it's not available anymore, give me the link anyway. I'm infamous for digging stuff up that's... I've gone through and partially tried to solve cases from the 1930s. I found the physical location, the actual physical location, plus or minus 3 feet, of where a person was found, no longer alive, on a road, so I could tell you exactly, down to plus or minus 3 feet on GPS, where that body was. When no one else posted any of this data. I just dug up all the news articles from the 1920s and 30s and 40s that were posted about the subject recurringly, and finally got it narrowed down because I could find 2 or 3 pictures that did this. Because the telephone poles hadn't been changed out since then. And 1 fence post matched. Yes, I'm that person. I'm not Rainbolt. I'm worse. Because I don't need a time constriction. So basically, if you know of the information, I'll be able to determine whether or not you gave me a false link. That's one of the reasons people don't give me any links anymore, I suppose, because I'll call them out on giving me a link that didn't go anywhere because it really didn't. It's not that it's deleted, it's that it was never there. Also, I want to point out at the bottom of the screen, it showed something like something.com.mx, a link to the page, and I want to point out that the web page for this company that put up these television broadcasts was supremely unstable. So have at it, but you can't communicate with them anymore. I will include a heavily mocked up image of what the thing might have looked like if it was in full color and it was a good picture. Again, it's AI generated and altered by me, and I wouldn't trust it necessarily. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that, and only post if you have data, please. Thank you.